The Radio Forest Podcast.
Hey, Forrest, it's Greg Warren.
Greg, how are you?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Good. What kind of peanut butter do you buy these days?
That's a silly question, Forrest.
Come on now.
It's Jif, man, all the way. I'm a loyalist.
You're still in with Jif, huh? Was it just that good, or just because you saw it behind the scenes?
Well, it is. It's a superior product, and it's a little thing called loyalty, you know? You ever heard the Marines say, like, once a Marine, always a Marine?
Yeah, but I'm in radio. We leave jobs and screw each other over all the time.
I know you guys do. But there's a code among peanut butter salesmen and Marines.
I see the connection. What about Pringles?
Yeah. Pringles, still a big fan. We protect our product. We built a cardboard fortress around our snack.
Absolutely. Everybody else, chips get smushed. You got half of it's full of air.
Yes. Now you're talking.
But the Jif and the Pringles, they're still like some of the top brands. I forget what the classification is for Pringles, but like the number one or the like number 3 snack. And then Jif has got to be
called it is in the warehouse snack category.
Yeah, it's like one of the best selling, and so is Jif. They're up there. So prior to comedy, I mean, you work for 2 major brands.
Yeah. My father would say that I should have continued to work for those major brands.
How long did it take him to change his tune?
He's very supportive of my career, especially since I've been doing well. When I first started, I went from making 6 figures to, I think that first year as a comic, I made about $14,000.
And now you're up to 16.
Yeah, no, it's 16.5. Let's not. Yeah.
We're talking to Greg Warren. You hear him all the time here on the Eagle on the Bob and Tom Show. New special, The Salesman, and that's why we were talking about Pringles, and that's why we're talking about Jif. You were a salesman for both those brands. Who did you sell to? Was it to the grocery stores? Was it vendors? Who did you sell the product to?
Grocery stores, yeah. You guys, Albertsons up there, right?
Yeah.
Places like Albertsons. I mean, I started off calling on the stores. Then I would call on like a place equivalent to like the Albertsons headquarters, where you go to their buying office and try to get them to do stuff with Pringles and Jif in all of their stores.
Is there tasting involved? Would there have to be, right? Or no?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Here's the trick. Like, we sold Duncan Hines cake mix. I learned it's just bake a Duncan Hines cake every time you walk in there and even if you're not selling Duncan Hines that day, just bring a cake, give it to the secretaries, and things will start going your way. Yeah, I was doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, so you must have just been like, this is what I do and this is who I am. Was it a long wrap up to finally jump ship, or did you know right away?
No, I mean, I kind of was straddling both careers for several years, and I was doing a show in Dayton, Ohio one weekend, and Kevin Pollak, you know who that is?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yep.
This place was sold out, and I just had a good weekend. After the last show, Pollak was like, "Hey, man, I heard you don't really do this full time." I was like, "No," and he goes, "You should, man. You're good." And I went back to work that Monday, and on some level, I knew I was destined to quit. The good story would be I walked in there that Monday morning and quit. No, I let it linger for about 6 months, and then I finally got up the courage to quit.
Yeah. And not to change subjects and talk about other comedians, but Kevin Pollak, his impressions, that dude is insane with his impressions.
Oh, yeah, dead on. Yeah, some of the best impressions you'll ever hear. He's great.
Now, you've known a lot of these comedians forever. Let's start with the Bob and Tom Show. How long have you been involved with them? And did you know guys like Bob Zaney and Greg Hahn prior to the Bob and Tom Show?
I think I met those guys with Bob and Tom. I think I saw Hahn. I saw them both when I was starting out, but I got to be friends with them when we all went on tour together with the Bob and Tom Show.
And did I hear correctly, did Josh open for you prior to being on the Bob and Tom Show?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I used to take Josh out all the time.
When he got that gig, so let's back up, and he bombed. He bombed, right?
One time in Toledo, yeah, and I'll never let him forget it. Yeah, he bombed horribly in Toledo, Ohio. Yeah,
so
it was miserable. Yeah.
When he becomes part of the Bob and Tom Show, on our side, we don't really know the behind-the-scenes workings and who else might have been in the running. Do you know? Was it something you thought about doing? Did you throw your hat in the ring, or how did that all pan out?
I think it was, they never had like a formal audition. I think it was maybe Josh and another guy, and Josh pretty quickly, I think, Josh is just so funny and he's a perfect guy for that role. And Josh was a fan of the show when he was a kid. So it couldn't be a better fit. So he was in there doing some guest hosting, and I think it was obvious to most people, like, this guy belongs in this job.
Another comedian I know that you've known for 20 plus years, Larry the Cable Guy, and you guys are still working together these days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we work together. It's just if I like this past weekend, he was in my hometown of St. Louis doing a show at a big venue, and he said, "Hey man, you want to do a spot?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So it was pretty cool. That guy's been nice to me my entire career. I think it was Dayton, Ohio, and it was probably like the last time he worked a comedy club. You know, he was just about to blow up. And we went to a strip club afterwards, and there was this stripper that was like in a cheerleader outfit, and Cable Guy goes, "Hey, did y'all win today?"
What kind of venue was it in it recently then? Because like you said, he got done with the comedy clubs. I mean, he does like stadiums in Nebraska and stuff now. How big was the venue, or how big have the venues been that you've opened for him?
Well, I don't really open for him. I just happened to do a spot on the show. This past Sunday was there's probably 2,500 people in there. It's a big venue. Same
high school as Nikki Glaser, right? You guys, surely you've talked about that, or you're both aware.
Oh yeah, no, I knew Nikki right when she started. Yeah, I've known her for a long time, pretty much her whole career. She's great. Yeah, she actually in the special, there's a story that I tell about Nikki. We did a show together in the early pandemic. We were like, we had masks on and we were trying to raise money for something. And we stopped at this Starbucks. And I don't know if you guys remember, like early pandemic, Starbucks was open, but they didn't want you to go in their bathrooms, signs up and orange cones and stuff. And so, but I knew like, hey, the staff has to pee somewhere. Like they got to be open. So I would just walk in and I'd go right to the bathroom. Like before they even had a chance to say no, I'd go right to the bathroom. And, so I go to the bathroom, I come out, and Nikki's like, "I got to go, too." I was like, "Well, just go, Nikki." And she's like, "No, they're going to yell at me." I was like, "No, they're not. Just act like you know what you're doing. Just go. Come on, just go." She walks to the bathroom, and she gets one step from in the bathroom, and I go, "Ma'am, you're not supposed to go in there." And the Starbucks girl goes, "He's right, ma'am. You cannot go in there." I was like, "Oh, this worked better than I thought it would."
Did you guys have to leave and go somewhere else? And how mad was she?
Yeah, she was furious, but Nikki's a comic, so she admitted that it was a good joke. And we tried to go somewhere else, and that bathroom was closed too, and then she was really furious.
Coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to talk to Leanne Morgan, and I know you know her. What can I talk to her about? Give me something good I can ask her that she might not expect, something she's not getting asked all the time. What can I ask Leanne?
She's like one of the nicest people you ever meet, and really funny. I first heard her on the radio. I never met her, and I just emailed her. I was like, "Hey, you're really funny." And then we kind of became friends after that. But she's like always, whenever I see her, she's always telling me that I need to have children. I'm 54. I don't have any kids. And she's like, "You still need to have kids." She's like, "You can still do it. You need to have children." So you can ask her about that.
This new special called The Salesman. We talked about working with Jif and working with Pringles before.
All about my time selling Jif and Pringles. And it's kind of a cool project. It was directed and produced by Nate Bargatze, very accomplished, funny comedian. And Nate is kind of getting into the production business, and he shot 3 specials, and he's putting them all up on his YouTube channel called Nateland.
And you filmed this in Kentucky, so the crowd is very aware of the lore of Jif, right? So right away, they know. They get it.
Well, yeah, Lexington, Kentucky is where the North American Jif plant is. So, we kind of picked that for that reason. So, yeah, they were all about it.
Now, talk about the progression of comedy. You've been doing it for a while. So you had comedy CDs. You were on Sirius XM, Amazon Prime, and now YouTube. You keep staying with the times. And I guess every business does. But do you always feel like you're before the curve, or does the comedy change and then you have to adapt?
It's an interesting. I mean, I don't change the way I try to write comedy at all. I just sort of hopefully refine it and get better at it. But I don't think you should try to make something creative just to meet a need. I just sort of okay, what haven't I written about? What am I seeing these days? And then, but I think, where it resides, i.e. YouTube or Sirius Radio or Pandora or, Amazon or all that stuff like that. That's for the agents and the managers and the producers to figure out. I just sort of make something and then hope, I got some people that I trust, and, luckily somebody like Nate comes along and is like, hey, I want to do something different.
One Star Wonder, was that filmed or is that just audio?
One Star Wonder was just audio. I think like a lot of that material, that album was Comedy Central Records. So I think we recorded that in Denver, but 6 months before I had shot half-hour special for Comedy Central. So some of that material was overlap. And
you've been through Boise a lot, right? You've been in this town. Yeah. What's the reaction like when you come through here?
Yeah, I love it there. It's been way too long. I need to get back up there. I used to work the Funny Bone when they had a club, and my buddy Brian Lee, I think, has a space that he does the comedy at. So I got to get back up there, man. I really, really enjoyed it.
Where else is real popular for you? Like, what's just one of those good hitting places? Is it the Midwest?
I think, it's scattered. Tonight I'm doing a show in New York City, and then Friday and Saturday, Dayton, Ohio. I lived in Ohio for 5 years. That's when I was doing Pringles and Jif. I work a lot there. I mean, I work all over, but I really like Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati, Toledo. But there's some cool places. Austin, Texas is a pretty amazing place to perform. I'm doing Cleveland, too, soon, and Myrtle Beach. Wherever they want me, I'll go.
And you're still following, right, as a fan, collegiate wrestling, right? You're still really immersed in that, right?
Yeah. I'm all about it, man. Yeah.
Who are the good schools?
Penn State is unmatchable. Penn State's won 10 out of the last 12 championships. My school, Missouri, is good. They took 5th this year. They're consistently top 10. Iowa's still good. Ohio State is good. North Carolina State is good. Oklahoma State was down this year, but they're always really good. There's some schools that Lehigh is, always been good. Schools that you wouldn't hear of in other sports. Arizona State's really good too.
New special, The Salesman. Greg, thanks for the call, man. And next time you come through Boise, we can't wait to see you.
Hey, thanks, dude. I enjoyed talking. And I got to get up there. I really need to get to Boise.